I stole money from my son's wallet while I visited his house. My son, 20M, is much more successful than my wife and I, 43M. We are not in a great spot financially after my wife was laid off from her job while I was working a part-time minimum wage job. We barely make enough money to keep our house. My son invited us to visit at his home and stay for dinner. He lives alone in this huge house, from my standards, and that idea led me through this train of thought about security. As well as keeping an eye on everything in the house because my wife works for a home security company. We were short on money that month, and while my wife was talking with our son, I found his wallet and I looked inside. There was a total of $150, give or take a few. I took a total of $70 from his wallet and went back to the room they were talking in. I feel really bad and embarrassed. My son can never know of what I did that night. I should have just asked him if we could have some money to get ourselves back on our feet. Son, if you find this, I'm sorry. I just cost my friend a couple $100 in locksmith fees and convinced her it's her fault. My friend and I just graduated college this weekend. We decided to go out drinking, but I had a flight this morning to catch, so I told her I won't be staying out past 11. I left my book bag with my car keys in her apartment because she agreed to that time, but I couldn't leave without her. She got way too drunk and was practically begging a boy to come home with her. I'm begging her to leave around midnight. I finally convinced her to go home around 12:30. She's fucking inebriated. We get there, she's telling me how worried she is for me flying, and tries to give me a million things to take with me. I accept all the things and then put them back in her room. This goes on for about an hour. She then says she can't possibly go to sleep alone tonight, so she needs go to teach that boy a lesson, and is looking for her keys to go to his house. I obviously couldn't let her drive, so I hid her keys in her closet. I finally convince her to lay down, and I leave. I locked her bedroom door behind me, hoping it would confuse her enough so she couldn't leave until morning. A minute ago I get a call saying she woke up on the living room couch and now she's locked out of her room. She was looking for her keys so she could get an Uber and left her room to check the living room, and when she came back the door was locked behind her. I think the door didn't lock all the way when I left. I didn't check the handle. And she got out but couldn't get back in. Now her keys are hidden in her closet and she can't leave her apartment because she won't be able to get back in. Her roommate is insane and has actually sent her death threats, so she doesn't like to be in the apartment at the same time as her. She now can't leave for hours and her roommate might actually kill her. This is my fault. I hid her keys and I locked the door. I told her I hid her keys but didn't tell her about the door and just told her she was so drunk she probably locked it behind her. I'm such an awful friend, but I had to leave to get my flight at 8 a.m. and I didn't leave her apartment until after 2. I also live 30 minutes away. I woke up 30 minutes before I have to leave and I haven't packed or anything. I'm upset she kept me up, but my consequences are being tired and rushing. Hers are a couple $100 on a locksmith. I'm a bad friend. Update, I made my flight by the skin of my teeth. She got her door unlocked. Idrik how, but she did. I appreciate y'all telling me I did the right thing. I feel a lot more like it now than this morning. I've stolen about £12,000 from my dad, probably going to get disowned. Hello. Just a throwaway account to get this off my chest. I already understand the huge mistake I've made in writing this post in preparation to actually tell my dad I have used that much of his money. My dad recently sold a property for about £231,000 and it was in my name, so the funds were transferred to my account. It started off small where I'd buy some stuff I've always wanted like clothing items, then buying some more expensive stuff like a PC and other technology. I have spent around £12,000 in like 6 months, and then my dad wanted to purchase another property and so asked me to do the proceeds to sending the funds to the solicitor, which was £204,000. My dad buys properties and then renovates them to sell on, and during the last 2 months he has probably asked me to send him around £12,000 for his costs, and there's about £3,000 left. I know he's going to find out obviously, and the next time he calls me requesting for me to send money I will have to let him know I spent majority of it and offer to pay it back over time with my wages, but I know that will delay the timings of his work as it will be at a much slower rate of like £500 a month. I've already accepted he will be very angry and probably disown me, which is acceptable with my behavior. I feel very guilty and stupid for not thinking of the consequences and becoming greedy. Edit, I have mentioned it to my dad and he was very angry. I offered to pay it back and he bluntly agreed, hanged up and hasn't spoke to me since. I've been made aware I could be under bigger trouble as my dad may have been evading tax with these properties and everything is in my name.